You ever feel like life's testing you on every level and you're not even sure which class you signed up for? One moment, you're doing okay. And the next, it's like everything's unraveling, your thoughts, your energy, your hope. People say, just stay positive. But what does that even mean when you're exhausted, behind on everything, and silently questioning if anything gets better? This isn't a story about fake smiles or feel-good quotes. This is for you, when you're holding it together with invisible thread, wondering how to keep going. These 7 lessons aren't magic. They're real, honest, quietly powerful, and they just might help you find a reason to breathe deeper, soften your heart, and trust that light still exists, even when everything feels heavy. Introduction: when positivity feels like a joke. Let's be real for a second. There are days when someone tells you to just stay positive and you want to throw a shoe at them. Not out of hate, just exhaustion. You know those moments, right? When your thoughts are crawling all over your mind like ants at a picnic. Your phone's buzzing with 100 problems, and deep down, you're just trying to hold on without falling apart in public. Stay positive. Easier said than done. But here's the truth I want to share with you. Not as a guru, not as a therapist, just as someone who gets it. Positivity isn't a mood. It's a daily decision. And no, it's not about pretending everything's okay when it clearly isn't. It's about learning how to respond, not just react. How to find light without denying the dark. And most of all, how to stay soft in a world that hardens people by default. So if you're tired, scattered, or quietly losing faith in anything feeling good again, this story is for you. Let's walk through these 7 lessons together, not the everything happens for a reason fluff. Real tools, real stories, and a kind reminder you're allowed to be human here. Lesson 1. Your mind believes what you feed it. You ever talk to yourself without realizing it? Like you spill some coffee and mutter, "Of course, I'm such an idiot." It's subtle, harmless, right? Until it's not. Because what you say to yourself, your brain listens. And more importantly, it believes you. Imagine this. You have a little kid who follows you everywhere. And whatever you say, they write it down in a notebook. She said, "I'm worthless." He said, "I always mess things up." They said, "I never get it right." Every insult sticks. Every doubt settles in. That kid, that's your subconscious. It stores everything. It doesn't fact check. It just files your words as truth. What are you watering? Think of your mind like a garden. You've got fertile soil, but what grows depends on what you plant. You feed it harsh self-talk. It grows weeds of insecurity. You feed it hope, perspective, curiosity. Watch it bloom. Now, this isn't toxic positivity. I'm not telling you to chant affirmations in the mirror like a robot. I'm saying be mindful of your inner dialogue. Your thoughts are powerful, not always truthful, but powerful. Quick shift. Try this instead. Instead of saying, "I'm failing," try, "I'm still learning." "I always screw this up." Try, "I'm still figuring it out." "No one cares." Try, "Maybe I haven't found my people yet." Subtle? Yes, but it changes everything. It's the difference between stabbing yourself and standing beside yourself. You're not broken, you're biologically wired this way. Here's the thing, your brain isn't cruel, it's protective. It's designed to scan for threats. That means negativity sticks harder than joy. It's called the negativity bias. It kept our ancestors alive, but now it just makes us anxious in traffic. So when you notice your mind spiraling, don't shame yourself. Smile just a little. You're human. And being aware of the pattern is already a win. Lesson 2. Don't trust every thought that shows up. Let's get one thing clear. Not every thought deserves your attention. Your brain throws out thousands of them daily. Some are wise, some are garbage, and some are just weird. Ever had a random disturbing thought pop into your head for no reason? Like, what if I just disappear? Or what if everyone secretly hates me? That's not a sign you're broken. That's a sign you're alive. The bus driver analogy. Imagine you're driving a bus. You're headed somewhere important. Your goals, your healing, your peace. Passengers keep getting on. Some are calm, some scream, some say, "You're going the wrong way," or "You'll never get there." Do you stop the bus every time someone yells? You could, but you'll never reach your destination. Your thoughts are passengers. You're the driver. You decide which ones get a seat and which ones stand in the back. You don't need to argue with all of them. Just keep driving. A thought isn't a fact. This needs to be repeated like a mantra. Just because you thought it doesn't make it true, and just because it feels real doesn't mean it's accurate. Try writing your thoughts down sometimes, not in a Dear Diary way, just a quick log. You'll see the patterns, the repetition, the sneaky lies, and over time, you'll stop believing every voice in your head. That's when freedom begins. Lesson 3. Make room for small joys. They're bigger than you think. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt real joy, not because of a big event, but because of something tiny, like the smell of rain on warm concrete, or hearing your favorite song by accident, or finding an old photo and laughing out loud? Small joys, micro moments. We overlook them because they're not loud or shiny, but they matter a lot. The problem with big happy, everyone's chasing that big happy ending, the dream job, the soulmate, the perfect house with the perfect coffee table book. But here's the catch. Big moments are rare, and if you wait for them to be happy, you'll spend 99% of life feeling behind. Happiness isn't found in fireworks. It's in the tiny sparks that light the way. Science agrees. With grandma studies show that dopamine, the feel-good chemical, gets released more consistently when we enjoy small rewards regularly, not giant ones occasionally. So yes, your grandma was right. That cup of tea, that garden walk, that quiet book on a rainy afternoon, they matter. How to build a joy habit. Notice one small good thing per day. Say thank you out loud, even if no one's around. Take mental snapshots of moments, not selfies, real snapshots. This isn't fluff, it's rewiring your brain for joy. One simple, beautiful flicker at a time. Lesson 4, don't fake it, feel it, and then pivot. You've probably heard this one before. Fake it till you make it. But what if? That's terrible advice. What if pretending you're okay when you're not only pushes the pain deeper? What if positivity isn't about masking the mess, but meeting it, sitting with it, and gently asking it to step aside when it's done talking? Let's be honest. Some days feel like wading through emotional quicksand. You smile at the grocery store cashier, nod through meetings, and tell your friends, "I'm good," when you're clearly anything but. Here's the truth. You're allowed to feel it. All of it. Not forever, not obsessively, but fully. Real positivity doesn't fear pain. Imagine a storm rolling in. Wind, rain, the works. You can stand in the open, screaming at the sky to stop. Or you can shelter, watch, let it pass. Feelings are like weather. You don't control them, but you don't have to live in them either. You acknowledge the grief, the fear, the letdown. Then, when it's time, you move. That's not weakness. That's strength wearing honesty. The lie of constant cheerfulness. There's a myth out there that happy people never cry, never rage, never question life at 3 a.m. while staring at the ceiling fan. But guess what? Real positivity isn't loud. It's quiet, grounded, gentle. It's being in the storm without becoming the storm. It's saying, yes, this hurts, but I won't let it harden me. You know what's brave? Telling the truth about how you feel, without turning it into your identity. You are not your worst moment. You are not your hardest day. You are what you choose next. Lesson 5. Cut the noise and choose your circle. Have you ever scrolled social media for a few minutes and come out 45 minutes later feeling worse about your life? Yeah, me too. Here's the quiet truth we don't say enough. Most of us are overstimulated and undernourished. too much noise, not enough depth. It's not just the content, it's the comparisons, the subtle reminders that you're behind, that you're not doing enough, that someone else's highlight reel looks way shinier than your reality. And it's not just online, it's offline too. Energy is contagious, so choose wisely. You've got people in your life who leave you feeling energized, and then you've got the ones who drain you dry. Sometimes it's not even their fault. Maybe they're stuck in their own storm. But your peace matters too. Here's a question to ask yourself. Who gets my energy and who just takes it? Not in a judgmental way, in a self-respecting way. Because the people you talk to most, their mindset seeps into yours. Positivity isn't just personal, it's social. Digital detox doesn't have to be dramatic. No, you don't have to throw your phone in a lake, but maybe unfollow accounts that make you feel less than. Take one no-scroll morning a week. Protect the first 15 minutes of your day like gold. You don't need to disconnect from the world. Just filter what gets in. Protect your input, and you'll naturally protect your outlook. Lesson 6. Move your body, free your mind. Let me guess, you've heard it 1,000 times. Exercise helps mental health. But that's not what I'm here to say. I'm not talking about gym selfies or perfect abs. I'm talking about movement as medicine. You know what's wildly underrated? A 10-minute walk, stretching while your coffee brews, dancing badly in your kitchen. Motion unlocks emotion. When you move, you release tension. You get out of your head and into your body. And that's where healing starts. Because so much of our stress doesn't live in our minds. It lives in our necks, our jaws, our clenched fists, our shallow breathing. The body keeps score, and it also writes new chapters. Movement resets the story. Why stillness isn't always the answer. Sometimes the advice is, just slow down. And yes, rest is vital. Silence is sacred. But sometimes, you don't need stillness. You need a good stomp. Take a brisk walk, punch a pillow, shake your limbs like a kid pretending to be jelly. We've become too polite with our healing. Sometimes it needs to be messy, physical, alive. Move more, not to change how you look, but to change how you feel. It's not about fitness, it's about freedom. Lesson 7. Anchor yourself to meaning. All right, time for the real anchor. Let's say you've tried all the tricks, reframing, movement, journaling, and yet something still feels hollow. That's when it's time to ask the deeper question. What am I rooted in? Because positivity without meaning is just glitter on cardboard. It looks nice, but it won't hold up in a storm. Find your why, even if it's small. Your why doesn't have to be grand. It can be to raise kind kids, to be the first in my family to break the cycle, to bring beauty into small corners of the world. Meaning doesn't have to shout, it can whisper, but it must be there. The monk and the leaves. There's a story about a monk who swept the temple courtyard every morning. A traveler asked, "Why do you sweep when leaves just fall again?" The monk smiled and said, "I sweep not to clean the ground, but to clear my mind." See that? The action wasn't glamorous, but it was anchored in purpose. You can do that too, even if your work is unnoticed, even if your days feel repetitive, even if no one claps. You're still building something sacred, if you know why. Conclusion: positivity isn't a personality, it's a practice. Let me say this as gently as I can. You don't need to be relentlessly cheerful. You don't need to fix everything by next Tuesday. You don't need to fake a smile when your heart feels heavy. You just need to show up, to notice your thoughts, to choose better words, to move your body, to protect your space, to find joy in small things, to stay connected to meaning. That's positivity, not the Instagram version, the real, gritty, beautiful, imperfect version. You won't get it right every day. Some days it'll feel like too much. But on those days, remember this. You've made it through 100% of your hardest moments so far. You're still here, so breathe. Begin again. You've got this. And if you forget, come back to this story. These 7 lessons are always here, like a soft light in the dark.